Let's talk about testing a car battery. Volt testers, they tell you the voltage. A load tester can tell you a general idea of how it's handling loads, but not the overall health of the battery. This led me to seek out a tester that could dig deeper, provide more information that's more definitive, one that looks at multiple measures of a battery's health and delivers a true and accurate verdict. A verdict like this: bad, replace. There's no confusion with that. And you got a peek of this tester in a previous video, the video where I was replacing that battery that is bad and needed replaced. I promised you I would give you a closer look at it, and here we are. With the Viking digital battery tester, battery and system tester. I purchased this from Harbor Freight, and I know, but this actually works and it's super affordable. I only paid $29.99 using one of their coupons. For that low price, a pretty stacked feature set. This tests battery capacity, alternator output, voltage regulation, and starting capacity. It has an easy-to-read display, which is backlit. It's easy to use, compact and portable. It works on a variety of different auto battery types and has a couple of built-in fail-safes. For example, a reverse polarity check. If you hook the positive onto the negative terminal, it's not going to damage anything. It's going to let you know that it's backwards, and you can switch it, and the unit will protect itself. If it's too low or too high of a voltage, it will let you know. What you get inside the box: you just saw the plastic bag. The unit is wrapped in. There are instructions and a bag. You can carry it around in this nice little Viking branded bag. The unit itself, which you can see, I kind of pre-unboxed before I started filming. It's a nice little unit. It's small, but not too small. It comes, again, wrapped in that plastic bag. Here's the face, the 4 function buttons, and the 36-inch cable. On the ends, color-coded alligator clips, which I'm going to admit feel better than I thought they would for a $30 device. That positive perception extends to the entire unit. It doesn't look cheap. The plastic looks nice, it feels nice. Now it is lightweight, but that's a good thing on a portable device. Plus, this draws power from the battery that it's testing, so there's no internal battery to provide weight. A quick glance at the instructions, and I went right for it. This tells me everything I need to know. The battery's bad and needs replaced, and the reasons why. Overall health 32%, 100% state of charge, but look at those cold cranking amps, far below my battery's 420 rating, and that the internal resistance is higher than I want it to be, putting a strain on the electrical system. Compare that with a good battery that passes its test. This is my new battery the day I put it in the car. Let me show you how to use it start to finish. It's very simple. With the car off, connect the battery's negative clamp to that's a black one, to the negative battery post. The red clamp goes to the positive post, and that will automatically boot up the device. It gets its power directly from the battery that it is testing, so no batteries needed. Once booted, you'll see a main menu with 3 options present. The function buttons, also basic and easy to use. The up and down arrows navigate through the menu. Escape is basically a back button. Enter is to make a selection. I'm going to go through all 3 of these menu options for you, but I'm going to start out at menu option number 2, which is device settings. Under it are 2 submenus. One will allow you to adjust the screen contrast, and also want to note, this does have a backlight, so it's very usable at night. The second submenu is tool information, and this gives you the firmware revision and the hardware version, and the Harbor Freight URL for some reason. Let's escape back to the main menu and get to the good stuff. The battery and system test. There are 2 options. You can choose between either. I'm going to select battery test, then I need to select the proper battery type. The options are standard flooded, AGM flat plate, AGM spiral, VRLA gel, and EFB. In this case, I have a standard lead acid battery, so that's the selection I will make, and that gets me to the test mode. The options here: cold cranking amps, amp hour, cranking amps, or MCA, which is marine cranking amps, for a deep cycle battery. I'm going to use cold cranking amps. I know that rating, it's on the top of my battery. Using the up and down arrows, I'm going to get it dialed to the right number, hit enter, and it will ask if the battery is in or out of the vehicle. My battery is in the car, so I'm going to select that. Now, one note here: car batteries can build up a surface charge, and this system is set up to tell you to turn the lights on for a few seconds to eliminate that charge, but I found this device works just fine if I skip right past that and get right to the test. I've tried it both ways and I get the same result, so maybe my car is just well grounded. Your mileage may vary here. You can always just hit enter and skip past this part, and proceeding to the next part, the Viking tester will get right to work. It only takes a few seconds, maybe about 5, for the test to complete. Then it will deliver the results. Here's my battery as it sits 1 month after I installed it to the day. Looking good, and I have two options here. I can save this test result to the log, or I can go back to the main menu, which I need to get back to show you the other test option. Battery test we just did. Now the system test part, what's that? This can check the battery's performance at startup and also check the car's starting and charging system. One caveat here, I can do this alone because my car is tiny and my battery is close to the windshield, so that 3-foot cord will reach, but for most modern cars, I think 2 people are going to be required. Using the main menu as before, we're going into battery/system test, but this time we're selecting option number 2 from the submenu, the system test. This is as easy as a battery test, but slightly more involved. It tells you what to do each step of the way. For instance, it tells me to make sure the lights, the heater, and the radio are off, and then start the car. The unit will detect the RPMs and go right into the cranking system evaluation. Like the battery test, it's going to deliver a verdict, let you know if it passed it or not. I'm good. It also shows the volts supplied during the cranking process. And I have another option. Hit enter to move to the charging system test. This performs what's called a ripple test, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know what that is. But I know that part of it is that I need to turn on the car radio, the headlights, and the heater per the screen prompt, and run the engine up to between 2,000 and 2,500 RPMs. Now unfortunately, because the radio is going, I can't let you hear my engine's 78 horsepower ramping up. All I can tell you is that it's there and it sounds spectacular. Hit enter per the prompt and hold those RPMs between 2,000 and 2,500, and 15 seconds later I get a result. I didn't talk long enough. What? Nope, still going. What about now? Nope, still going, and now. Like the other test, this will give a verdict, a pass for my car with the other test values displayed. I can also press enter for a complete report. 2 more passing grades, my little blueberry is an honor roll student. The system test can be saved too, just like the battery test, but note the unit will only store 10 tests, so it'll start overriding the oldest result after you get to 10. As you can see, this is easy to use. And all those logs it's created can be viewed in the option number 3 of the main menu, Test Records, but I can tell you, a 10 result log might seem like a lot, but those 10 logs fill up quick. Especially when you first get this unit, it's a new toy. I tested every battery I could get access to. I've tested so many different batteries with this, I can't tell you what that result is from. It's something from one of the neighbors. Other results, I do know where they come from. Like this next one you'll see, this is another neighbor's SUV, and you'll see a high cold cranking amp value on this, and that's because I caught them when they pulled in and made them let me test their battery. The engine was still warm, so there's the high cold cranking amps. And then there's another neighbor's junky Hyundai. I call the car Slip and Drip, and he buys the cheapest Rural King batteries he can buy, those $50 specials, and he has to replace them every year. And this one is about 10 months old, and you can see it's already testing bad. Poor Slip and Drip. And by the way, I was able to get to that car because it won't move. It's stuck in his front yard. The transmission went out. Bad news for it, but it gave me an opportunity. I was able to use it for the very first system test that I tried, and here are those results. Of course, the battery is bad, but the charging system, that gets a pass. So it tells you how bad those Rural King batteries are. At least those cheap ones, and I can prove it because here's the very next test. This one is a revealing one. Same neighbor, another 12-month, $50 Rural King battery. But this battery is less than 6 months old. I think it's only about 5 months old. And it's already down to 55% state of health. I've used this to test batteries in cars, trucks, an RV, lawnmowers, where like on my Craftsman T210, where the battery's going on its 4th year. Normally I have it on a trickle charger, but I used that for my scooter during the super cold snap, and unfortunately, it took an effect. Even when I recharged this, it's still on its way down, but 4 years out of these cheap batteries, that's pretty good. And speaking of cheap batteries, you can't get any more fragile than the batteries that come in scooters, so I'm able to keep a monitoring eye on both my scooter batteries, thanks to this tester being able to test batteries as low as 40 cold cranking amps. This 50 cold cranking amp, I can keep an eye on it, monitoring with regular tests, and know when I'll need to replace it. For now, I'm good. What I'm trying to show here is just how versatile this tester is. From 40 cold cranking amps to 2,000, from 5 volts to 17. Let me restate that it can detect between 5 and 17 volts, but it's made for testing 12-volt batteries. And on the night that we hit 0 degrees in Florence, Alabama, record-breaking, I had a neighbor bring over a battery. He walked it over. I was able to test one using the out-of-vehicle mode. It just doesn't ask you to run the headlights for 10 seconds. It's the same test otherwise, and it showed us both that this battery is in fact bad. The backlighting looks great at night in person, but not so much on camera. The important thing to note is people are walking over batteries for me to test. Word is spreading. I have a good tester, one that I am thrilled with, especially for $30. Time will tell how this is going to hold up once I toss it in a drawer. Let it sit for a year before I use it again, actually. I'll probably be using it more frequently than that. But so far, I would say I've tested maybe about 30 batteries with this. And that's my look at the Viking digital battery and system tester from Harbor Freight. It's worth the money to me, but what do you think? Do you have a battery tester? Do you have one of these? If so, share your experiences. Thumbs up this video. I hope you subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.